Willkommen zurück bei Fast Forward und hier sitzen jetzt Depeche Mode bei mir in der Sendung. Welcome, gentlemen, on my show. I'm very proud to have you here. Of course, we have to talk about the new album, Exciter. The new album sort of has a really great diversity of sounds and especially moods. It's sort of as if every little song is like a microcosmos. You would say, would you agree to that?
I think really over the last couple of records it's been more important just creating the right atmospheres, because most of the songs are quite atmospheric pieces, so it's been a question of layering textures.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been really important for us.
Yeah, and lots of people have already sort of compared Exciter to Black Celebration. Would you agree to that comparison? Can you see parallels somehow?
I think this is down to me. I apologise.
Yes. Please.
I think what I meant, as you said earlier, the diversity. I don't think it sounds like Black Celebration, but it's just the diversity of songs. You know,
yes.
It just reminded me because all the different styles and different vibes. That's the reason.
Exactly,
you know?
because Black Celebration was already sort of like different moods on every song, you could say. Yeah, and I think this time the arrangements on the album were much more, I would say, subtle. And more reduced. So was that something you planned right from the beginning, or did that sort of occur to you while working with Abel?
Well,
yes.
Mark.
Yes, Mark. Sorry. Well, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we used to call him Belly.
Belly. Well, I wouldn't say.
Say hello to Belly. Hi, Belly.
Lady boy. Lady boy.
Where are your lady boys?
So was it planned from the beginning to have it sort of subtle and reduced?
I think that the way the demos were finished sort of dictated that. You know, they were quite minimal.
Yeah.
And I think we often try and get that minimalism in our music, and we haven't always succeeded in the past. I think it's difficult because you're left with a balance of vulnerability. You know, you have to just get that right.
Yeah.
And I think we're really pleased this time.
Yeah. So is it as I imagine that you have it sort of quite simple at first, and then you fill it up?
I think we did that in the old days a lot. You know?
Yeah.
I think for once on this album we've managed to achieve like minimalism and without the song sounding empty.
Yeah, okay, and this goes to Dave. I have this feeling that your voice has developed sort of a much deeper form. Would you sort of say that you got deeper into the song somehow?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I feel like my voice is coming from a better place.
Yeah.
Within me as well, you know, and once I stopped, like Fletch said, you know, like sometimes, you know, you fall into the trap of like, especially when you're singing, it's like, that's how I sing, and that's you know, that's my voice, and so that's kind of the treatment I would like work out on every song, no matter what was really going on there. But for me, like the mood of each song, like you said, is very different. Yeah. And I realised quite early on that it was going to take sort of very different moods from me to sort of help that like atmosphere to build, you know. So yeah, it was challenging, you know, but in a really good way. And I felt as well from the songs, I didn't sort of sit down and like look at the lyrics and try and I never try and reinterpret like what I think it is that Martin is writing about.
What he could mean, yeah.
But I somehow pick up in the melodies and within the words a feeling that I always feel like I can identify with. Actually, it's not always, but on this album I felt like that a lot, and that made it a lot easier once I stopped trying.
Okay, and we're going to watch the new video, Dream On. This is going to be broadcasted when it's out. And that is one of these songs that I thought were very sort of reduced, sort of in a pretty way, simple, you know, sort of. And can you remember how this acoustic guitar part occurred to you?
It's mine.
Well, when I first wrote the song, I started on an acoustic guitar and wrote the words, the melody, and recorded that to tape. Well, it wasn't to tape, it's a hard drive these days. And then I was working with a couple of friends in the studio. Gareth Jones, this guy we've worked a lot with in the past and on previous albums, and one of my friends, Paul Freegard, who's a keyboard programmer. And we wanted to take the song then off in a totally different direction. So we got all these hard electronics and really sort of minimal clicks and bleeps and things happening.
Yeah.
And it was only sort of like 3 or 4 days into the actual working of the song that we thought, let's just put the guitar back in just to see what it sounds like. That was just supposed to be a rough skeleton that was going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
We put it back in and suddenly it all made sense because it was such a great contrast between the electronics.
Yeah, I knew there must have been a story to that guitar. So here goes Dream On for you, the first video from Depeche Mode. Und zurück bei Fast Forward mit Depeche Mode bei mir in der Sendung hier in Hamburg. So we just saw Dream On, and for this time you didn't work with Anton Corbijn together, so instead with Stéphane Sednaoui, is that right?
Yes.
Now, why did you decide to choose Stéphane Sednaoui this time?
Well, it was a process of elimination, really, and it was suggested to us that we tried changing this time and working with someone different, and I think that was a good thing from Anton to just have a break. And we looked through lots of different show reels of different sort of video directors, and by far Stéphane's work, stuck out.
Yeah.
And what I like about his work is that in the same way Anton's photography, it's really complements like the music. Rather than necessarily sort of telling some kind of story or trying to sort of tell you what it's about with the visuals. And I don't think our music does that. Yeah. I think it's left to, you to sort of think what you want to think, and that goes for us too, So he definitely... We haven't actually seen the video, even though you've just shown it, and this is going to go out later on.
And we have seen it. Well, yeah.
Seen it, between you and me. Off the record, we've still yet to see the finished sort of post-production. Yeah. He does an awful lot of work, Stéphane does, like after you've finished filming, he does a lot of work on his own. With lots of lights and video effects.
Yes, exactly, the light thing, obviously, so have these light figures in it, always with light balls and
There's
stuff.
definitely a light figure.
Yeah, light fetish it is, Nelly, I would say. This is a question for you, Martin. You once said, this is a quote of yours, that your main motive for writing songs is to tap people in their emotions. And what does a good song have to touch your emotions?
I think really it's just about something you can relate to for me.
Yeah.
When I write a song, I just try and capture an emotion that means something for me, and hopefully it connects with somebody else out there.
Yeah.
And hopefully most of the time it seems to do that. Our fans are the most obsessive in the world, so I think there's some communication thing going on.
Yeah. But it is sort of in some way sort of writing about a special moment maybe in your life or something that you can relate to, and then it's gone. It's like sort of a moment, and for other people years afterwards it means something. It's sort of really amazing, really.
Well, it is amazing these days. You can sit in a little, my little studio at home and work on a little idea, then it just goes out all over the world. It's, it's just incredible, especially with internet these days. I mean, you can literally if you wanted, put a demo out that day and it'd be all over the world.
But do you think about things like that? Sort of wonder how many people are going to listen to what you're doing at that second?
I don't over-obsess about it. I don't think about who it's aimed for or anything like that. Like I said, I try and do something that interests me. Yeah. But, there is such a mass communication thing through music.
Yeah. And this is now for you two. When Martin comes up with a song, is it sort of... Do you need time for sort of interpretation, or is it sort of mostly clear what he means, sort of now you know each other for so long?
Well, I just got to really sort of copy what...
Sorry, I've got my copy.
Agree with Martin.
That's okay.
I've got it out going, sorry. I do this with every TV interview now.
Really?
Going to a coughing attack. I think it must be nerves or something. I don't know.
Better than sneezing onto people or something.
I could do that as well.
No, please don't sneeze on me. It's sort of that far. Sorry.
I've done it again, haven't I?
Yeah, it's just, he does this and then I'm like, no. What Martin just said, basically, somehow Martin's song touches me. When I'm singing in that way, there's something about it. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but I identify with the feeling that it gives me. Yeah. And I can't really explain it. I don't really want to even try to. Yeah. It just happens, and it feels right when I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm. And this is a question for you.
I'd also like to add as well.
Oh, yes, please.
Some of the, talking about Mark's songs, I think one of the nicest things about being in the group is, you know, when you do hear Martin's demos for the first time, or, you know, and the other nice thing obviously is when we finish the CD and you get your first pressing of it,
baby. Yeah.
which is really two of the nicest things, you know.
Yeah, and
Still.
this is